everyone, I'm Silver. It is Monday, February 8th. A quick welcome back must go out to all returning viewers. If you did tune in last time and decided to come back, I really do appreciate it. I also just wanted to say a quick hello to all new viewers. I am pretty social. You can find me on Discord as SilverD8858 and on Instagram mostly as Silver's Knitting. Now, I do have a lot to talk to you about this month, so just please grab your drink of choice, your crafting, and away we go. So I am actually drinking a cup of pumpkin spice coffee that we've had for a while. I think it's from Green Mountain, but I'm not too sure. Anyway, I'm actually hosting this in I solemnly swear I am up to no good Marauder's map cup. My tank, as I put it. Let me just take a quick drink and then we will get on with it. Okay, maybe one more. Maybe one more. I'm still kind of waking up this morning. Okay, in this episode, I do have FOs or finished objects. I do have whips or works in progress. I do have Silver's Unraveling Fast, Back to the Future, Stash Dash Plans, X's and O's, Radio GaGa, Silver's Book Pile, Silver and a Case of the Screen Time, My Favorite Things, The More You Know, and The End of the Road. Okay, you guys, I'm going to take another quick drink and then we will move on to the next segment. Okay, let's talk FOs, or what I finished since the last time we talked. Okay, the first one that I'm going to talk about is what I call the Hexie blanket. I have actually finished 41 5-round hexies since the last time we talked. I'm basically just making 5-round hexies, no real pattern. Eventually I will put them all together. I think I might mattress stitch them together, or I might try to join them as I go. I don't know. Each of these hexies is actually made out of miscellaneous fingering yarn scraps. I actually don't have most of those tags anymore, so I don't remember them all. Sorry. Oh yeah, and I am using a size G hook, which is actually a 4.0 mil. The second thing that I want to talk about is what I called cubed blanket. Cubed, C-U-B-E-D, sorry. I did make a total of 52 of these squares for the blanket. They are 5-round squares. A lot of them. I mean, a lot of them. Again, these are all miscellaneous fingering yarn scraps. I don't have the tags on these much anyway. Basically have a whole bunch of miscellaneous fingering yarn scraps that I am using for the course of the blanket. I intend on making a total of 700 of them. I think I'm just shy of 150. I don't know the exact number. Sorry, guys. For these, I am also using a size USG hook, which is a 4.0 mil. The next thing that I did finish is what I called G's Shawl. It wasn't on the hook for very long, but this was the Quick and Simple Granny Shawl by Hannah Howens. And I am, again, using miscellaneous fingering yarn scraps that the intended recipient actually gave to me. I had some mystery yarn in there, but I also did have some Malabrigo Arroyo in the 4 Pearls colorway. Did have some Knit Picks Stroll in the Dazzle Pants colorway. I also had the colorway Moon from Unplanned Peacock, and in a colorway called Dark Olive from Valley Yarns, which is actually a Webs exclusive. For this project, I did use a size USG hook, which is a 4.0 mil. The next thing that I did finish is what I called January 2021 DVD socks. For this one, I did use the Toe-Up Socks with a Difference pattern by Wendy D. Johnson. I also used Desert Vista Dye Works in the Viso base. The colorway name was called Witch's Brew Frap. Love this colorway, you guys. I did use a size US1, which is a 2.25 millimeter on 9-inch circulars most of the way. For the heels, toes, and cuffs, I did end up using 2 16-inch circulars. With that, I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next segment. Okay, let's talk what's on my needles. The first one I'm going to mention is what I called DVD Love Less Than 3. I'm just going to note this is probably going to be one of the last times that I actually bring it up for a bit, as I've actually decided to put it aside until at least April, and just because I want to have all of the colorways from my Desert Vista socks, spoiler, into the blanket, and I wanted to kind of do it all at once. And I might use it for a Scrappy Sunday, but don't get me started on that. Let's see. Oh yeah, the pattern I'm using on this one is the Granny Stripes pattern by Attic24. Again, I am using miscellaneous Desert Vista dyework scraps. I will have a full list of all the colorways. I think I'm going to put that into the show notes and the description box below. I'll also have it on my personal blog with everything as well. I've been making a list of all of the Desert Vista dyework scraps that I've been using in this blanket as well. In that look in there as well. For this project, I'm actually using a size G hook, actually, which is a 4.25 millimeter boil needles, or hook rather. The next thing that I did put, I'd say a fair amount of love in since the last time we talked, is what I call the Christmas Eve shawl. Again, this is the Quick and Simple Granny Shawl by Hannah Howens, and I am using miscellaneous fingering yarn scraps. I don't have any of the labels, but they are the leftovers from my hexie squares from over, or the hexie, little hexie things that I've been making throughout the course of this year. A lot of what is left over is under 2 grams each. Maybe a little bit more depending on how much I had left over. For this particular shawl, I am using a size USG hook, which is actually a 4.0 millimeter. The next thing that I do have on the needles is what I called Peacock Shawl 2.0. This is actually a new work in progress since the last time we talked. I've actually put a boatload of progress into this shawl. I'm starting to slow down as each row is currently over 800 stitches, so we'll see how much I get done by the next time we talk. The pattern that I'm using is actually called the Peacock Shawl by Emily Walton. I am using a few colorways. I'm using a colorway from, actually 2 colorways from A Nice and Knit, both on their fingering base, in the Back Bay colorway and the Seaside colorway. I'm actually using a random red that I don't actually have the tag on anymore. I don't know if I ever did. The next colorway I used was a Sheepy Time Knits All Your Base in the Ruby Slippers colorway. And then the last colorway that I'm actually planning, actually just put in last night, is from Leading Men Fiber Arts in their Showcase base in the Just Peachy colorway. For this work in progress, I'm actually have this on my US 6 60-inch ChowGo red lace needles. It is super scrunched up on even those needles right now. And probably will be until I will go to bind off. But that's another story altogether, right? I'm actually housing this in my pink flower bag by the Fat Squirrel. I love this bag, you guys. And oh, and you know what? I'm gonna have to upgrade even that, because the project itself just got moved over into my Fireflies bag by Bags by Awesome Granny. The next thing that I want to talk about is what I called my Scrappy Happy Blanket Take 2. I did make 11 round blanket squares for this. It is a G hook, which is the 4.25 boil needle that I had from before. I actually connected all 8 rows of the blanket since last time we talked. I did use the join as you go method, and now I am all the way. I'm going to be doing a couple outside rows and then the border, and it should be all set. This is basically something that I have started working on Scrappy Sundays, or basically just any day I feel like doing some scrappy blanket work. The next thing that is actually new since the last time we talked is what I called Emerald Scarf. So MDI had actually asked for another scarf, so of course I'm going to knit him one. The last scarf I knit for him was just before our wedding, so I actually haven't made a straight up scarf since before our wedding, which is 10 years ago. I actually almost forgot how to make one. I had to cast it on and off several times. The pattern, I'm just kind of making it up as I go along. It's a 2x2 rib for about 6 rows and then just garter stitch for the rest. I haven't gotten more than 30 rows into it. That's a small amount of progress because, you know, garter stitch for days, yo. For this one, I'm actually using Miss Babs Yowza in the sea teal colorway. And the needles I'm actually using are a US 9, which is a 29-inch marble circs. And this project is actually being housed in my blue TARDIS bag by Addicted to Sock Knitting. Love this bag, you guys. The next thing that I'm going to talk about is what I called Sugar Skulls socks. This is basically just a vanilla sock. A vanilla sock that actually happens to have a patterning on the yarn itself that are supposed to look like skulls. I have decided that I'm going to change the heel actually to a slip stitch heel, which I actually prefer for my heel. The yarn itself is actually, as I mentioned, is called Sugar Skulls by Yarn by Abby. And for this one, I'm actually using a size US 2, which is a 2.75 millimeter on 9-inch circulars. This is the recommended needle size. So I was trying to match the skulls up. And at this point, they don't match up. And I'm kind of okay with that. The next thing that I did start since the last time we talked is what I called Spoiler Socks by Susie Almon. I am using Into the World, spelled WHIRLD, in Paquin socks in the bigger on the inside colorway. I am using a size US 1.5, which is a 2.5 millimeter 9-inch circulars. I did use two 16-inch circulars for the toe, and then once I get to the cuff, I may use them as well. This is actually being housed directly in my pink bell bag by Molly Klein Designs. This is actually something I was trying to work on this morning to try to see if I can get up to the heel, but that's another story, right? The next thing that I want to talk about is what I called Doctored Hat. This is a new one since the last time we talked. I am using the Sockhead hat pattern by McClure. I'm about 2 or 3 rows away from the ribbing, so I'm done with that. I used, the pattern calls for 4 inches of ribbing. I never actually go the full 4 inches because, quite frankly, I don't need more height on the hat anymore. I am using Apple Tree Knits in the Pearl Jams Luxe base in the colorway Doctor Who, and I'm using a size US 3, which is a 3.0 millimeter. This is actually being housed directly in my sheet bag by the Silver Shed USA. I love, love, love this bag, and I love that the hat can fit right in there. And the last thing that I have cast on since the last time we talked is what I'm calling February 2021 Desert Vista Dye Works socks, or DVD socks. I am using the Toe Up Socks with a Difference by Wendy D. Johnson. This is actually for MTI. He picked out the colorways, and so yay, wish me luck. I am using Desert Vista Dye Works. They're on their Viso or sock base in the Sonora and Sunrise colorway. This was a prize skein, I believe, for last year, so I love that I'm using it right away. I am using a size US 1, which is a 2.25 millimeter on 9-inch circulars. I'm about an inch away from the toe. It's just kind of round and round and round and stuck in it, so I can work on it even while we are recording, or while I am recording. This is actually being housed in my Exploding TARDIS bag by Slip Stitch Studios. I love this bag, you guys. Okay, I'm going to go take a good drink of coffee because apparently I need it. And then I will see you in the next segment. Silver is unraveling fast. Okay, yes, I have actually ripped out 3 projects since the last time we talked. The first one was what I called Back in Black. This is actually my sweater from Nanny Swimo 2018, I believe. I made it too short, and then when I tried it on, I found that there were a few holes in places that aren't easy fixes, so I ripped it. Originally, this was the Millie pattern by Nice and Knit, and I did use Nice and Knit's fingering in the Back Bay colorway. And on this one, if I remember correctly, I used the US 5, which is a 3.75 millimeter for the collar and sleeves. And then the size US 7, which is a 4.5 millimeter marble serge for the body of the sweater. Yeah. The next thing I ripped since the last time we talked is a sweater that I actually made for MTI. I made a few years ago. He recently decided that he no longer would wear it, and that he wanted me to reclaim the yarn for the scarf that I mentioned before. So I actually, like I said, I ripped it out, used the yarn for that scarf. The original project name on this one was It's Easy Being Green. I did use the Flax pattern by tincanknits and Miss Babs Yowza in the CTO colorway. Originally, this was knit on a size US 6, which is a 4.0 millimeter, and a size US 8, which is a 5.0, on 16 inch, 24 inch, and marbles DPNs for the whole sweater. So, and the last thing that I did rip out was since the last time we talked, is what I called Everything's Just Peachy. Okay. After wearing this sweater like 4 times, I honestly must have caught myself somewhere on one of the bottom seams, like on something. I don't know why. But then after that, there was a few holes that appeared in places that aren't easy fixes. So it has actually sat in my UFO / fix / whatever bin for so long. As much as I really like this top and I really wanted to wear it, I kind of wanted the yarn for something else more, so I actually ripped this one out as well. The original pattern was the Anemone by Veera Valimaki. I believe this was in interpretations 5 or 6. I can't remember which one. It's been that long. I'd have to look, and if I can find it, I'll actually put it in the description below, as well as in the picture down below here. Anyway, I did use Leading Men Fiber Arts in the showcase base in the Just Peachy colorway. I absolutely love this colorway, you guys. On this one, I believe I ended up using a size US 4, which is a 3.5 millimeter, and a size 6, which is a 4.0 marbles 30 inch strokes. Wow. All right, I guess I need more coffee. I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next segment. Back to the future. Okay, you guys, I do have a few plans in place for the rest of the year. My plan originally is to do a total of 12 pairs of socks for myself. To that end, I have a total of 6 new ones that have actually been in my queue for a while. I want to do the double snare pattern by Lueder. I also want to do another pattern by Lueder called Hermione's Everyday Socks. I have done this pattern before, but it's been in my queue to do a second pair. So, the next pattern that I want to do is called the French Vanilla Cappuccino Socks by CC Almon. I love this pattern, you guys. I just want to use for the sake of stripy patterns. You know how it is. The next pattern that I do want to cast on this year is called the Minerva's Lucky Quidditch Socks by Audrey Paquin. This is a very complicated, lacy, detailed pattern sock, and it's been in my queue for a while. Probably 4 or 5 years, one of those, and I think it's about time. I have the yarn that I want to use. I don't remember where I put it though. The next thing that I do want to cast on eventually this year is the Weasley Rib pattern by Lueder, and the final pattern by Lueder I want to do is called Weasley's Homestead. I absolutely love these patterns, you guys. I cannot wait to get them started, but I did make that plan and I put it in place. So, but yeah, like as in everything is wound on, or everything is skeined up and ready to go. Anyway, before I go on and do any more rambling, I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next segment. Okay, you all. With all the planning for the socks, I actually was kind of pre-planning, I guess you can say, for Stash Dash this year. Stash Dash is the cow that is, well, basically the main cow that is actually hosted by the knit girls, podcast, and I try to pre-plan, try to get as much almost done as I possibly can so that the summer is relatively easy. I just kind of bind out, do a row or two, and then bind off to this end. What I want to include this year in that whole total, I don't know what I'm going for a goal, but I do know I just kind of want to get as much off the needles as I possibly can. I do want to start off by getting my Scrappy Happy blanket take 2. Like I mentioned, I want to get to literally the last side of the outside border row and then just holding it until the beginning of Stash Dash. That will get a lot of yardage. I haven't quite finished calculating everything out, but hopefully by the time I get to that point, I think maybe in a month or so it'll be ready to go. I'll tell you what the yardage will be on that. Let's see. I also want to finish my DVD Love Lesson 3 blanket. I do want to have all but the final like crochet row, the last like single crochet. So I plan on putting all the Desert Vista scrap yarn in there. Hopefully by the time Stash Dash begins, I will get to that point, depending on spoilers. I have some Desert Vista yarn coming my way, so hopefully I can finish all the socks that correspond with that first. Anyway, I am planning on doing a full row of a peach colorway and then a single row, a row of crochet across the top to completely finish the blanket. I hope to get to that final row, but we shall see how that one goes. The next thing I'm thinking about trying to hold off a bit for the for Stash Dash is one full row and at the ribbing at the end of the Peacock shawl and the bind off, because I think those two alone will be enough knitting for I'm planning on doing I think I might do an I-cord bind off for the Peacock shawl, which might take most of a day or two to finish, but that's neither here nor there. The next thing I do want to have kind of done and ready to go is the rando color viageante that I've been working on for a while. I do want to have all but the last knit row and the bind off on that done. I think I'm actually just about there. I haven't actually looked at it, but that's my goal. This particular project is actually on not light fingering, lace weight, so that'll get me quite a bit of yardage. I'm hoping this will be an easy goal for me to hit, to be honest. The next two things are very contingent on the fact on how quickly I can get everything done, but I may or may not get these done. The first one is the hexie blanket. I hope to have all of the hexies done and mostly connected, and then I would just need to add the border during Stash Dash, but we will see how lofty this particular goal is. I wanted a total of 320 hexies to go into this blanket. I am nowhere near that. If anything, during the course of the summer, there may be more hexies I make every month. We'll see how it goes, right? That's, like I said, this and the next goal are pretty lofty, depending on how much I want to work on squares and hexies, right? Okay. The cubed blanket is the next, and as you probably guessed, the next thing that I want to try to get somewhat done for Stash Dash is the cubed blanket. I hope to do about 30 to 31, depending on the month, squares during Stash Dash, and maybe connecting some of the squares and finishing it. But honestly, this last part, like I mentioned before, is highly unlikely, as I'm nowhere near being done with the squares. There are 700 of them that I would like to make for this blanket, so like I said, if I can get the squares done at least during Stash Dash, that would be quite a start. Now, the last category is just socks, all the planning that I made. I do hopefully, I'm trying to do a pair of stripy socks every month this year. Obviously, I'd have May, June, July, and August stripy socks completely done throughout the courses of those months. Those are a start and finish type deal. I'm also hoping to completely finish the Hello Sweetie socks and all of the other socks that I mentioned above. I hope to just get to the last row of ribbing on the second sock of each of those, or toe, whatever, what have you, just so that way I can just finish it up during Stash Dash. So wish me all luck, you guys. Okay, I have kind of rambled a bit about my plans. I'm sure a lot of these plans will change. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a quick drink and then I will see you in the next segment. X's and O's. Okay, guys, I have actually made very minimal, it seems, progress on my cross stitch. This is the In This House ... Doctor Who by Stitch area. I'm going to include their Etsy shop below and in the show notes as well. I have managed to get through only really the doors on the TARDIS. I have not done much else this month, and quite frankly, I did the doors on the TARDIS last night, or was it the night before, just to try to just try to at least get something done on it. I'm hoping next month we'll do a little bit better. My focus has been mostly on that Peacock shawl that I mentioned a couple episodes ago and the planning. It's been an interesting month. Anyway, what I actually have been spending a lot of time on, I've actually been working a lot on my town in Animal Crossing. Basically, so much so that I'm going to be considering this part of X's and O's as another craft. It took us a good 2 weeks between MTI and I to go ahead and fix up the island a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and put in a video of what the island used to look like and then what it kind of looks like now. Like I said, this remodel took over a week, probably almost 2 weeks, and mostly by the end of the first week, I was kind of getting sad. I was getting sick of waiting for the days, because each day you can only move like one store and one person's house. So I actually ended up doing a lot of time traveling to get it done in about a week and a half. We kind of created, between MD and I, we actually created a picture of what we wanted it to look like, and then just kind of worked on it slowly together. Honestly, this is different than any other time I've remodeled the island, which is pretty cool that MTA got a chance to help out. Okay, fair warning, the videos are a little bit long. I will put the timestamp below, and also into the show notes so that you can see kind of how long each one is. Anyway, I will see you in the next segment. Okay, let's go take you on a strange journey throughout my town. A lot of the work has actually been mine. Yeah, this is where we lead off. I don't know if you like Doctor Who, but it looked too much like a TARDIS not to leave it by my house. This is my second character's house here, and MDI's house here. He did not want a second character. It's okay. Ooh, remind me to come back and get that. Just running around. I don't know if you noticed, but I have like lots of waterfalls around my house here. I kind of blocked myself off from the rest of the island here. This is the southern seaboard. MD, I really liked having the paws prints on the beach, so. Oh, today's going to be a fruit day. That's good. My dock here. It's a good thing I don't have my bathing suit on anymore. I just would have jumped right in the water. Sorry, guys. See, there's the back side of my house here. Kind of blocked it off a bit here, and yeah. See, originally I built up here for my house, and then I made it big enough for all three of the characters. Ooh, before I forget, let me grab that. Anyway, surely have like lots of stuff on the beach. As many lights as I possibly can, because you know you're on an island and you want to be saved, yada yada yada. Oh look, I can get through. Oh wait, hold on, what's this? Oh, yep, you would be right. Haha. SLE stands for the silver character, my Luna Eye character, who's my second character. Sorry, I had to clear up a little bit of space so that I would be able to continue my tour, apparently, on my phone. As I was saying, obviously the E stands for MTI. Whoop. And I keep doing that. I don't know if you can even see it. I've got this surrounded by water. That's kind of a theme in my island. You'll notice that as I go along. Oh, hello, Mr. Dragonfly. Yeah. I'll do a lot of the work later. Not shaking the trees right now is kind of making me anxious, but there's literally nothing behind our houses except a rock wall and a pond because MTI requested lots of ponds. Don't get me started on that. Whoa. Anchovy, what the frig are you doing? See, more waterfalls, especially on the back end of the little cove that I made. Yes, I'm a little bit picky about what kind of flowers go where, if you hadn't noticed. I try to organize everything. I have this whole shop row, as I call it, and then there's a theme here, SLE again. Whoop. Running through the flowers. There's my rainbow and roses. I am so proud of that. Had to beg, borrow, and steal for the blue roses because the blue roses weren't wanting to grow on my island. Oh look, there's KK right in the middle of everything, and I put the little dudes back here. Oh yes, if you're wondering, more water, more waterfalls. Some gorgeous. Honestly, a lot of the stuff for the waterfalls took me hours upon hours to do. These two here are my original villagers, so they got their own like little plot of land over here. I've been collecting stuff that they kind of request over in this area. A lot of these flowers are all the same. Each of these bushes is actually a different type. They come out at different times of year. Oh look, Mr. Pumpkin. If anyone's wondering, yes, these are DIYs, and yes, all my characters have them. I do have to double check Silver Eye soonish, but oh, that's Iggly. Yeah, just kind of doing a tour here. I know I'm running kind of fast, but yeah. See, like I said, there's like fires everywhere. Nothing like rando dolls being everywhere, right? I did manage, we gotta come back for that. I did manage to get all 6 of my rocks here. I'm not gonna lie and say I actually planned that out. They happened to do that, and that's kind of good because that's where I wanted them. I relocated a lot of flowers. Yeah, just kind of looking around, seeing what's what today. Yeah, my neighbors. I mostly have all my neighbors in the same place, but I have what I call our gold tree forest. Basically, every time you get that gold spot, I think today is a chopping day for everything, actually, on my island, so I'm going to be busy for a while. Maybe after the premiere later. But yeah, see my Godzilla, gong, like certain things are everywhere. Yeah. Why are you always in the trees? That's Graham. He's a little bit annoying. I managed to get all of my types of trees in one, like, couple quadrants. Oh, hey. Just because. It was annoying me to have them all over the island. And then these two here are the most social of characters in my game, so they got put up here just to kind of keep them out of the way. Well, hello. Speaking of social characters, I have this like bridge over here. I had to create a spot actually for the different things that come up throughout the course of the year. Ooh. I don't remember planting those two. Might have been MTI. Anyway, I have a forest of pumpkins now. Hopefully they'll come in soon so that I don't have to worry about it. I'm trying to, I don't know if you can see up top here, I'm trying to get more gold roses, so hence why the golden watering can with me. But A lot of the bridges that you see and what's there are what I originally put in when I first started playing the game. And obviously I didn't bother moving most of anything. I ended up having less inclines now than I did when I first started. Mostly because I put them kind of willy-nilly. We started literally with this first part of the island, and then where the bridge is, like all the bridges are, were after I, expanded from the original. But anyway, it has been nice to kind of walk around with you. It's nice having you. I just want to do a quick, tiny little video to kind of show you what both MTI and I have been up to in our town. I think you can see pretty well. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and get to the beginning of the island and the tour will begin. Everyone, here we are at the beginning of the island. If you were to come visit, you can see there has been a few changes on the beach now. I have an area where I'm going to start giving away all of the, sorry, I had to pick that up. I don't know why. I have an area now where I'm going to put all the fossils for anyone that needs them, especially on shooting star nights where I invite people in. But I did that on both sides here. I don't know if you can see the beach is now taken care of. A lot of, sorry, I haven't played today. This is actually the first time I'm looking. But along the beach, I do have my bonfire. And see all my rocks in one place. Yay! And then I do have all of my shops along here. The normal shop. I do have the Able Sisters and the museum right next door to each other. Because you literally cannot move this. Is the only thing you cannot move. But that's a whole nother story. And in the back here, one space. See, back beach, a bunch of flowers. Not sure exactly what I want to do with this area yet. If you have any ideas, let me know. Right here, where you're seeing me going, is actually the area where 6 of my residents are, myself and 5 others. A few people out and about today, but it took me the longest time to get this area in. Had a lot of creative finagling to do. Let me see if I can zoom out a bit here. Nope. See, made waterfalls. Yep. I haven't changed my house since the last time I did a tour, you guys, so bear with me. Yep. It's hard to see this area here, but I do have a lot of water. I'll show you what's up there in a sec. Oh, get out of the way! Alright. Now, what you normally see when you come onto my island, you see all that water in the background. But if you come up here, I do have my like arcade slash fun little ride area here. The other area I have on this side is the music and exercising area, courtesy of a few people on the island. All the carnival stuff that needs to be in the front of the decorations. And then here would be all of the DIYs that we've been collecting. So if anyone wants them when they come to visit, they can see we have a whole bunch kind of just hanging out here. Sorry, I'm just kind of running fast, trying to make this as quick as I possibly can. And then in here, we do actually have our, we're getting snowball, get out the way. Our little diner here, still putting bits and pieces in here. I'm gonna kick the snowball out of the way. But I tried to have everything matching. I think I did. Yeah, I did pretty good. If you go off to the left here, do have all of our fruit trees. You can see them organized by fruit type in a four tree grid, except for the back row, just to save a little bit of room. We do have 4 bamboo trees back here.
The ones to the right are the oak and maple trees, I think is what they're called in the game. I don't know, guys. I just have them. And then we do make money trees. This is something that MTI has really taken a shine to. Those are all of his planted trees. So a little nod to my Murderino friends. More trees and stuff, right? Ooh, hey, mine. My dock. Obviously can't move that, but I did put the campsite down here, although I wish I had kind of put it closer to the shoreline, but that's neither here nor there. And then, if you follow this pathway up here, see your little, like, tulip things. I love these guys. They're amazing. Oh, hey, it's Backbird. Let's change that. Here he is! Anyway, I'm digressing hardcore. Okay, so if you keep going back here, I do have a half art installation / lighthouse back here. All of the flowers that were on the island and kind of random places are now up and out of the way. I made 2 rainbow forests, but here are the last of our island people. Oop, hi. Don't want to keep running into them, but I made like 2 different cutout areas. Hey, isn't that fun? I'll have to visit everyone later, but yeah. Then we're gonna loop around to my favorite part. Behind all the trees. See, there's more. I promise you. And then the last thing that I'm actually the most proud of, it took the longest, was this bridge, you guys. Took the longest to get it to work. And of course, well, and there's this entranceway. I love the way that this all came out, you guys. What do you think? Just let me know down below if you think there's anything that I should probably add to it. Anyway, I'm actually going to go ahead and continue on. Yeah, I guess I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.
Radio GaGa. Okay, you guys, this week I have been listening to a few podcasts and not much else. I've been listening to Wine and Crime, and That's Why We Drink, My Favorite Murder, Harry Potter and the Sacred Text, as well as The Murder Squad. Okay, you guys, I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next segment. Silver's book pile. I have been finishing / reading quite a bit since the last time we talked. So you know, everything that I do talk about is actually directly on my Goodreads account, which is actually Silverluna, Silverluna. I'll make sure I put that down below. So, let's see. I have finished Sweep in Peace, One Fell Sweep, Sweep of the Blade, Sweep with Me, all by Alona Andrews. I have also read Which Ways, which is actually a compilation from various authors, a lot of different stories. That took me a while to read. Let's see, I also finished Real Murders by Charlene Harris, the author of the True Blood series. Let's see, Three Brothers by Samantha Twin. I finished, let's see, Detective Cameron by Charlotte Hope. Lessons from a One Night Stand by Piper Rain. I also finished Lovers at Heart Reimagined by Melissa Foster. I also just realized I actually just finished a book, again, of various authors, called A Billionaire for Christmas. As to what I'm currently reading, I'm actually reading 16 Lighthouse Road by Debbie Macomber. I've actually listened to this one. And I've also been reading along with the Harry Potter and the Sacred Text podcast. We're actually currently on, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. I had to take a little bit of a break, but I am now back. I am caught up with, they are on chapter 34, I believe, this week. So can't wait to get to that one. All right, with that one, I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next segment. Silver and the Case of the Screen Time. Okay, you guys, I have been watching quite a bit since the last time we talked. I have actually been watching 911, 911 Lone Star. I've also been watching Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist. They're back for their second season. A Discovery of Witches, the second season is back, but I also did binge the whole first season in about a day and a half. I've also been watching Prodigal Son. I watched one episode of Name That Tune. I didn't like it, so I haven't watched it since. But what I did try since the last time we talked, and actually is relatively new, I believe they're going on to the semifinals now for Masked Dancer, so that's actually pretty cool. Also been watching Nancy Drew as well. I did binge the first season again just to kind of see about catching up. I think they're into episode 4 of season 2. I didn't know they were back until, well, there was an advertisement for the 3rd episode, so yay me. In terms of podcasts that I've watched since the last time we talked, I've actually watched GGK, CS. I've also watched the Knit Girls, Stockinette Zombies, Stitching the High Notes, and then the Knitters League. Yarn Hoarder actually had an episode after a long time, so yay, welcome back. Let's see. Oh, Adore Knit. I actually was a couple episodes behind, ended up catching up. Let's see. Oh, Knit Sense. I was a few episodes behind, so I finally caught up with them. With her, sorry. Also been watching Meditative Crafting every time they do come out with an episode. Dramatic Knits, Plies and Hellhounds, Crazy Sock Lady, and Knit Kitten. I'm still a bit behind on her episodes, but I'm getting there. I will go ahead and put links to all of their podcasts on YouTube, all of those links directly in the show notes, and they'll also be in a section in the bar below. Okay, as you do when you're on YouTube, there are many other things that I've watched. I do tend to watch like random crash videos, which I don't know, it sounds weird, but they're kind of a way into the outside world, I guess, for me, and to calm me down, which is very weird. Anyway, I do watch the likes of like Mega Driving School, R and DB Driving School, also Sergi sometimes, a few others, just whenever they pop up. I do watch Mr. Reddit videos. A lot of the time it's the full-on podcast episode that they put up. I do watch Charlotte Dobre's channel. I watch Top 10 Central, Top 10 Central Dark. I also watched a series from Nikki Tutorials called Layers of Me, the full video series. Oh, oof. I really do love her. So I've also been watching Camelot 331. Sika Says is back from her little hiatus there. She's back at Supernatural. So I've been watching an episode of Supernatural sometimes with her just to kind of be like, oh yeah, that's what happened. I watched a rando new series that's called Innocent L, or From Innocent L. It's basically Google images for each Hamilton lyric. I don't know why I got on that kick, but I did. I've been watching a lot from the Matthews fam and an account called guitar_night 14, who actually does each of the Hamilton songs to Animal Crossing characters. It's actually pretty fun. If you haven't seen it, I recommend it. Like I said, everything I mentioned below is actually going to be linked directly in my show notes. Alright, so before I go on and ramble anymore, I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next segment. My favorite things. Okay, we have had several large-ish storms for the area. Snowstorms, I should preface. Where we've got enough snow that at one point the drifts in front of our slider back door were taller than Mario. They were pretty hard. That was pretty fun. Yeah, I love watching those pictures. I'm gonna put them in here so you can see how much snow we ended up having with the last one. Something that wasn't quite my favorite thing, but I'm going to mention, especially since I mentioned it in the Discord boards. I had a allergic reaction to something. I'm not sure what it was that it ended up making my hands really like blow up like balloons. So there were a couple days where I couldn't knit at all and I couldn't crochet. I couldn't do anything. Like I couldn't even type. It was pretty bad and I was miserable. You know how I am. I used my knitting as my pacifier for things. So a lot of the planning for the podcast actually happened while I wasn't able to do anything. Like I was sitting there with all the thoughts, but that's neither here nor there. Let's move on to something a little bit more happy, shall we? Let's move on to Happy Mail or Enabling. So what's come in the mail since the last time we talked is 2 different colorways from Barocco Comfort. The first one was 4 skeins of 1713, which is a dark gray colorway. And the other colorway that came in was color 1825, which is very stripy. It's like pinks and blues and oh, it's super cute. And this was actually came to me directly from Webs. So yeah, it was actually a holiday gift from Mercury Zelda. So thank you so much, Mark. I love you. You can't see it, but I'm doing a heart in my hands. So anyway, I am going to go ahead and move on to the next segment before I do any more rambling. The more you know. Alright, before I get into any kind of Cal shenanigans, let's talk about the winner for the 100th episode contest. I've actually heard from the winner, but I wanted to announce it here on the podcast as well. The winner of that pair of socks that I'm going to knit was actually going to Meditative Crafter, so congratulations. Their response was, away with the poodles already. I love that one as I enjoy watching the Gilmore Girls. So congratulations on the 100th episode and glad you didn't stop with a smiley face. Whew. Loved hearing everyone's responses. Okay, let's talk Cal breakdown. Let's talk the Stripe Along 2021. A little bit of backstory is that I realized that I'm actually down to 3, maybe more, you'll see, skeins of Desert Vista Dyeworks stripy yarn. As I have enough stripy yarn basically to get through a full year if I continue knitting a pair a month, I've actually decided that I'm going to start an along. I've actually started an along for those who love stripes of any kind. This along is going to run all year long, and we're going to be using hashtag SDL Stripe Along 2021 on all social media platforms. The rules are simple. Anything that you do finish in 2021 with stripes will count. You must be a member of the Silver's Dreamland Discord or Facebook groups. If you don't use either platform, please make sure you use the hashtag and @ me on Instagram. I'm at Silver's Treats. This way I can know to count your projects for this along. So colorwork, Fair Isle, stranded colorwork, double knitting, and intarsia will count as long as the colors that you use are bright and cheerful. Quite frankly, anything that you can make work, like color blocking, things like that. Just a few notes for this along. You can actually enter your project multiple times. It is based on how long you took to complete each project. There's no need to actually go ahead and enter the FO multiple times. Basically, as long as you notate in that one post that you send or you set up, you just notate how long it took you to complete each project. I will comment with the correct post numbers for you. So basically, if you started and finished the project in 2021, you can actually count the project 2 total times when you put it in as an FO. If you started and actually finished the project within 6 months' time, you can actually enter it a total of 3 times. If it's within 3 months, you can do 4 total times. If you started and finished it in 2 months' time, you can enter it 5 times. And if you happen to start and finish the project in that same month, you can actually enter your FO 6 total times, you guys. Crazy, right? For this one, we do have a digital prize from @Pat, who is actually Looney Hiker on a Discord. She has offered one of her lovely patterns. You can actually look at all of her patterns on Lovecraft or on Ravelry. All links will actually be in the show notes, on Discord, and actually in the box down below. We also do have a physical prize from West Yorkshire Spinners in the Fairy Lights colorway. And there's actually a pattern that's actually included with this game as well. Just a note, if anyone wishes to donate any prizes, please message me on Discord, or you can email me at silverstreamlet@gmail.com. On Discord, I'm actually silverd #8858. I'm also on Facebook in that group as well. You can message me that way as well. I do have a few other prizes in mind as of right now, but I haven't completely decided. And I also have a few more. And I'm going to have an announcement when it comes to prizes every time they come up. So, all right, let's talk who finished objects in January. You ready? Congratulations must go to I Now Hour, L. McCall, Meditative Crafter, Nicole S., and VT Kimmy Ken. So congratulations for everyone finishing FOs in January. Okay, let's talk the Dream Along 2021. Honestly, a little bit of backstory. I was just dreaming of basically saying FU and goodbye to 2020, like just something fierce, especially by the end of that year. In an effort to literally dream 2020 away, I thought to host a new along in 2021 where I finally cast on those projects that I've been dreaming about starting for a while and just kind of put off for various reasons. I have also literally quite literally been dreaming about finishing projects that I've had on the needles and stuff for way too long. To this end, the Dream Along 2021 was born. Again, this is going to be run all year long. I'm going to be using the hashtag SDLDreamerAlong 2021 on all social media platforms. The rules for this are simple. Basically, anything that you finish in 2021 will count. You must be a member of the Silver's Dream Mountain Discord or Facebook groups. If you don't use either one of those platforms, like I mentioned before, please make sure you use the hashtag and then @ me on Instagram @SilverStreets. This way I know to count your projects for this along as well. Basically, the main idea for this along is to start or finish things that have been in your queue, whether they've been UFOs, unfinished objects, or things that you've actually been dreaming about and have in your queue on Ravelry and had it for years, and just really, like I said, haven't gotten up the gumption to do before. I'm looking at you and Star. However, anything that you finish in 2021 will actually count for this along. A few notes. For this along, you can actually enter your project again multiple times. Like I said, this is based on the length of time the project has been in your queue. There is no need to enter each FO multiple times. Basically, again, like the other along, as long as you notate how long it's been marinating, in either way, I'm going to comment with the correct post numbers for you. Basically, if you have started or had this in your queue for more than a year, you can actually enter your post 2 times. Now, just before I go into the rest of that, basically anything you finish in 2021 will count, and you'll get that 1 time, so you know. Basically, if you've actually started or had it in your queue more than 2 years, you can actually get 3 total entries into the along. If it's been on your needles or in your queue more than 3 years, you can actually have a total of 4 total entries. If you started or had this in your queue more than 4 years, you actually may enter your FOs 5 total times. If you've actually started or actually had this in your cal or queue for more than 5 years, you may enter 6 total times. Here's the one I like. If you actually had this in your queue or on your needles for longer than 10 years, basically this is longer than I was ever on Ravelry, you may actually enter your FOs 10 total times. So, plenty of opportunities to get FOs, right? We do have a physical prize from West Yorkshire Spinners in the Starry Night colorway, and there's a pattern that goes along with it. I absolutely love the pattern, you guys. I think you will as well. I've also included a pair of Luet Sonic circular needles in a size US 5, which is a 3.75 millimeter. They are 24-inch circulars, so yay. Now, again, if anyone wishes to donate any prizes, please message me on Discord. Again, I'm silverd #8858. I'm on Facebook in the Facebook group, or you can actually email me directly at silverstreamland@gmail.com. Like I said, I do have a few more prizes in mind as of right now, but I haven't completely decided and fleshed out all the details, but there will be, hopefully relatively soon, we'll be having some prize notifications. Anyway, let's talk everyone who's finished FOs in January. You ready? We do have Elsa and M, I, Now Hour, L. McCall, Meditative Crafter, Nicole S, and VT Kimmy Kim. So congratulations everyone for participating this month. I cannot wait to see what happens next month. All right, I'm going to go take a quick drink because quite frankly that was a lot of information to impart, and then we will move on to the next segment. All right, we have come to the end of the road. I am pretty social. You can actually find me on our Discord board, which is Silver's Dreamland Podcast. I am the Silver D #8858 there on Discord. I'm going to go ahead and put a link down in the description bar below to that group. If you'd like to join us, just let me know. On Facebook, Silver's Dreamland can actually be found at www.facebook.com/groups/Silver's Dreamland Podcast. Yes, I know when you do a search for Silver Dreamland Podcast, there are actually two that pop up, a group and a page. If you follow the group, there's going to be a list of all episodes and along updates and things like that, and you can, pop in for conversation. A quick note about the Facebook group. To get into the group, you do need to enter 3 different questions, as I'm trying to keep spammers out of that group. The first question is, what episode am I up to? Well, today is episode 101, so that's nice and easy. Second question is, what is the name of Silver's son? Mario the cat / Mario. Honestly, if you don't remember either one of those answers, that's fine. Just please note this in your answers. Chances are you'll be in, but however, you do need to read the group rules and hit agree. The rules are simple and absolute in my eyes when especially when you go to answer the questions. Basically, you just have to agree to be nice on the board. Basically, when episodes go live, the notifications may bounce onto the page as well. If you'd like to follow that, that is up to you. On Instagram and on Twitter, I am at Silver's Knitting. I do tend to read through all messages on social media platforms as soon as I possibly can. However, if you don't hear from me on either one of those platforms within like 24 hours, please feel free to email me directly at silverstreamland@gmail.com. As always, everything that I do talk about can be found in the show notes at www.silverstreamlandpodcast.com, or even down below if you'd like. I link to everything. If you haven't done so already, please feel free to subscribe and hit the bell down below. And this way others can find me in my own little corner of the world. Well, that and the fact that you can see when I post videos and when they go live and stuff like that. Okay, I have rambled for long enough. I know your time is valuable, so please feel free to join in any discussion or start your own on the Silver's Dreamland Discord board or on the Facebook group. I don't bite, I promise. If you're feeling generous, please click the like button below this video. It really does help my channel out. So please stay tuned for episode 102 next month. Until next time, happy crafting!